There was a time when London did not roar with engines. No underground trains shaking the earth beneath your feet. No electric lights washing the night in artificial daylight. No skyline of steel and glass cutting into the clouds. If you stood quietly on the banks of the River Thames in the year 1800, the city before you would feel powerful, but not yet unstoppable. The empire was expanding across oceans. British ships were mapping distant coasts. Trade was multiplying at a scale never seen before. And yet the capital itself still felt raw, uneven, almost vulnerable. The streets were alive, but they were narrow. The buildings were proud, but they were low. The future was forming, but it had not yet announced itself. Through AI reconstruction, we step into that uncertain moment. London in 1800, standing silently at the edge of an industrial storm it could not yet see. Pause for a moment and imagine standing there at dawn. A thin layer of fog rests over the Thames. The early morning air is damp and cold. Fishermen prepare their small boats, while larger merchant ships sit anchored like giants waiting to move. The city wakes slowly. Bakery ovens glow behind brick walls. Chimneys begin releasing thin streams of smoke. Footsteps echo in otherwise quiet lanes. There is no electric hum, no mechanical vibration, just human movement beginning another day. London breathes in rhythm with the river. The sound would reach you before the sight did. Hooves striking wet stone. The scraping rhythm of wooden carriage wheels. Dock workers shouting instructions across the river air. Church bells marking the hour in a world without wristwatches. The Thames was not a background feature. It was the bloodstream of the city. Ships crowded its waters so tightly that their masts formed a jagged forest against the gray sky. Cargo flowed endlessly: sugar, cotton, tea, tobacco, timber. Goods that connected London to the Caribbean, to India, to Africa, to North America. Each crate unloaded carried not only wealth, but stories of distant lands most citizens would never see. This was already a global city, even if most of its people never traveled beyond its narrow streets. But walk closer to the docks and the illusion of glory begins to fade. Laborers bent under crushing weight, hands hardened by rope burns, faces marked by fatigue long before old age. Their clothes were worn thin, their boots soaked from river mud. Entire families lived inside small, dark rooms stacked within brick buildings that leaned slightly from years of settling. Open drains carried waste slowly along the street edges. The smell was sharp and unavoidable coal smoke mixing with human refuse and river water. Disease moved easily through crowded districts. Cholera and tuberculosis were silent visitors. For the poor, survival was fragile. For children born into these neighborhoods, life expectancy was short. Yet even here, life pulsed stubbornly. Markets opened at dawn. Women bargained fiercely over bread. Boys chased one another between carts. Laughter could still be heard in corners untouched by wealth. The city never truly stopped breathing. Shift westward and the atmosphere changes. The streets widen slightly. Georgian townhouses rise with elegant symmetry. Windows are cleaner. Doors are painted and polished. Iron railings guard carefully trimmed entrances. Here live merchants enriched by colonial trade, bankers calculating profit margins, politicians shaping imperial policy. Carriages glide more smoothly over better-maintained roads. Servants move briskly between buildings, carrying packages and letters sealed with wax. Conversation revolves around investments, shipping routes, political developments in Europe, and rumors from Parliament. Wealth is visible, almost theatrical. But even here, coal fires darken the air. Even here, uncertainty lingers beneath polished surfaces. Because across the Channel, Europe is shaking. The French Revolution has shattered old systems of power. Kings have fallen, monarchies tremble. New ideas about liberty, rights, and representation spread through pamphlets and whispered conversations. London's coffee houses buzz with debate. Writers argue over reform. Merchants worry about instability. Newspapers circulate quickly, their pages filled with arguments about revolution and fear of rebellion. The British government watches carefully. Stability is precious and fragile. London in 1800 is not only a city of trade, it is a city of tension and thought, aware that the world beyond its shores is changing rapidly. Meanwhile, beneath the surface of daily life, something mechanical is awakening. Steam engines, still experimental, are proving they can replace muscle. Factories in the north are beginning to reshape production. London itself has not yet transformed into the smoke-choked industrial capital it will become. But the signs are visible to those who look closely. Workshops hum longer into the night. Iron glows in small foundries. New machines are tested cautiously. The rhythm of manual craftsmanship slowly competes with the precision of mechanical repetition. Few walking these streets can imagine that within decades, railways will slice across neighborhoods. Locomotives will thunder through stations, and an underground railway will burrow beneath the soil. The skyline will thicken. The air will darken permanently. Population will surge past anything the city has ever known. Entire districts will be rebuilt. Old neighborhoods will disappear. Climb to a higher vantage point, perhaps a modest hill, and look across the rooftops as evening settles in. Chimneys rise like scattered columns. Smoke drifts gently into the fading light. Church spires dominate the horizon, especially St. Paul's Cathedral, standing tall and steady. It is a symbol of continuity in a city that feels restless. There are no skyscrapers yet to challenge it. No steel towers, no glowing advertisements, just stone and ambition. From this distance, London feels almost peaceful. But down below, it is layered with contrast, privilege beside poverty, innovation beside stagnation, hope beside anxiety. When night falls, the transformation is immediate. Darkness is complete. Oil lamps flicker along major roads, casting weak golden circles onto cobblestones. Many alleys dissolve entirely into shadow. Night watchmen patrol slowly, lanterns swinging from their hands, listening for disturbance. Crime thrives in hidden corners. Pickpockets move silently. Taverns overflow with sailors recounting voyages across dangerous seas. Merchants discuss cargo losses and rising profits. Workers seek warmth, conversation, distraction from exhaustion. The city does not sleep easily. It murmurs in the dark. What makes London in 1800 so compelling is not its skyline or its statistics, it is the tension in the air. The sense that something enormous is approaching. Within a century, this city will command the largest empire the world has ever seen. Its factories will power global trade. Its financial institutions will influence distant economies. Its railways will redefine movement across continents. Its population will multiply beyond imagination. But in 1800, none of this feels guaranteed. The people living here are not aware they stand at the threshold of the Industrial Revolution's full force. They worry about bread, rent, illness, employment. They worry about tomorrow's shipment, tomorrow's wage, tomorrow's survival. They do not think in terms of destiny. They think in terms of the next sunrise. History often appears inevitable when viewed from the future. We see the empire at its peak. We see modern London's skyline reflecting sunlight across the Thames. But rewind to 1800 and certainty disappears. What remains is uncertainty, risk, human effort, a city in motion without knowing where that motion will lead. London is not yet the symbol of industrial dominance. It is a city balancing tradition and transformation, ambition and vulnerability, power and fragility. And that is what makes this moment powerful. Every modern metropolis once stood on foundations that felt unstable. Every empire once faced doubt. London in 1800 was imperfect, divided, restless, and alive. Alive with possibility. Alive with fear. Alive with change. If this story made you see the past differently, then remember, history is never truly gone. It waits to be rediscovered. If you enjoy exploring the forgotten, the unseen, and the moments that shaped our world, make sure you subscribe to The Unseen Time. Because the past isn't dead, it's just waiting for us to look closer. I was a traveler through time, and I'll see you in the next journey.